Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before.
Is she not going to come on camera?
It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is us. We are back again on a Wednesday evening to consign another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation to our vault. And I'm here this evening on this very data-y evening with my co-hosts Massimo Bob, Tavikins Turner, and Chief Sean. How are you doing, guys? Start with Massimo Bob. How's your week been?
My week's been okay, but I've got a bit of a cough. So I might have a slightly husky voice. And I might stay on mute in case I deafen you all with my coughing, but I'm here and I feel good.
You're here. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. And Tavikins, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. Currently have a munchkin screaming for me in the background, so I'd have to dip out for a second.
Oh, no.
But this week is going well, and I'm excited for the episode. I'm even ready to join his band if he's taking more into the posse.
Yeah, you're going to join Hollander's posse. Yeah.
For those of you not in the know, Tavi nearly didn't join us today. For somehow a dam got flooded and it caused a fire or something like that. I'm not quite sure how those two things go together, but in Norway that can happen apparently. But she made it.
You made it.
Yes.
Wild dogs couldn't keep you away.
Not from Data.
Fires, floods, plagues of locusts. Nothing can keep her from him.
I mean, maybe a crystalline entity, but short of lore and a crystalline entity, you're not stopping me.
And
I think I'm the plague part, aren't I?
You're the plague, yes. Yeah, very good.
And I'm the pestilence.
Wow, we are like the four horsemen of the apocalypse here. Yeah. Good
Well,
evening.
that's what my father would say to me when we'd be annoying him around the house as a child. Like, get away from me, you pestilence.
Oh, let me just put chat on live chat because else I'll be missing people. Okay, so good evening to everyone who's in live chat. Good evening, Ruth. Good evening to the Underground Paradox G-Star who came on earlier. And good evening, Wookie. I hope you're well. And Smiler Rainbow. And we've got Crystal Karen down visiting us this week. So you might see some other dogs wandering around in the background, some Springer Spaniels, and that's Karen's dogs. So yes, we have visitors. Yes. So good evening to you, Karen, as you're out there watching, and good evening, Stu Plum. We've got a full house this evening. So, Mazma Bob, you've got to be on your wits as far as scoring for the quiz goes. Good luck to you.
Just before we get into the episode, just a small bit of Trek news to share. If any of you didn't see it, there was a 4-minute clip of Prodigy shown at Star Trek Las Vegas at the weekend.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, the EMH is back. And there's a Voyager A, and they're going on a new adventure, and that's the main bit of news. And the other little bit of news, and I'll talk about it off air. Someone has built a model of the Enterprise from the 4-foot original molds, and it's going on show in Milton Keynes in the next couple of weeks at and I have the name here, the National Film and Sci-Fi Museum. Now there is other props from Star Wars, Star Trek, possibly Battlestar Galactica, Red Dwarf. Is there any I'm missing? I'm sure there's a few. Keep anything else I get Tavi to type out. But they're going to have an exact copy of the 4-foot filming model on display very shortly. So anyone in the Milton Keynes area, you fancy a day trip, you want to bore your kids, bringing them around a museum, you can do worse than going to Milton Keynes.
Yeah, that sounds real good.
How long it's going to be there is because my other half is actually from Bedford, which is 20 minutes from Milton Keynes. We do go up there quite often, but I don't think we're planning on going up there until November. So I guess it probably won't still be there by then.
It doesn't say. I've absolutely no idea, but it is something I probably next year might go out of my way to see, because I'm getting a flight, I suppose, from London. It's not that far, so yeah, probably handy enough to get to.
I've got my Hardy Shiraz this evening, so I've got my blood wine. Has anybody else got their blood wine this evening?
Yeah, I'm on some reprobates this evening. It's actually fitting for this episode now that I think of it.
Yeah,
Didn't even do that on purpose.
It is, yeah, it is.
I have hot water with lemon and honey.
Oh, not even for medicinal purposes. Yeah. What about you, Tavi? What drink have you got this evening?
I've got bubbly water, even though this region has had enough of water for the season.
Bubbly water.
Yeah. I was at the municipality and they were having a crisis meeting. I was looking at this bridge that I cross over the river, Gloma. And it looked like rapids on one side, and all of the beach line is gone. You just see trees. You don't see what the trunks are. You just see foliage.
Oh my word. Crikey.
Yeah, I miss growing up in Tremor. It's just a big hill. It was great. You live in a big hill, you never worry about flooding. It's fine. It just all goes down into the sea.
If you can hear any noise in the background, it's because Alex is hitting his kickboxing bag in the basement, and it's shaking my floor. So if you hear any noise in the background, that's what that is. Okay.
I was actually in the gym once, and I saw a local bouncer, and he was swinging out of a bag, really throwing punches into the thing. Anyway, the metal that was holding up had worn it away, and he actually burst the entire metal, and the bag dropped to the floor in the middle of the session, and literally nobody wanted to spar him after that, as you might imagine. He took the thing off its hinges.
Cool. Yes, well done, Maz and Karen. Yeah, like the stream. Yeah, thanks. That's yeah.
Tommy missed about 12 of them there, because I gave you I threw loads of them in. I think you were out for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
She's getting them up.
I had a baby screaming him in the background. She wanted the fan on.
Ah. Okay, so fistful of datas. That's what we're consigning to our vault this evening. It is episode 8 of season 6, production number 40276-234. It first aired in the US on the 7th of November 1992. It was the 133rd episode to be both produced and released. And the story was by Robert Hewitt, Robert Hewitt Wolf, sorry. I was surprised. This is Wolf's only TNG writing credit. I was shocked at that one.
He did a lot of DS9, didn't he?
He did a lot of DS9, and he's just someone I just associate as being like a Star Trek writer. So this is his one and only TNG writing credit. Shockingly.
Just on the air dates, I noticed just this episode it gives the air date for both Sky and BBC. So the air date for Sky was July 93, which is only 7 months after America. And then the BBC one of 30th of August 95. So we're kind of we're in that weird area where we're kind of catching up on one season whilst starting 2 seasons ahead. Yeah. That time 30 years ago was odd. And you had DS9 in the middle of it.
Yeah. This was the time period where I was running home from work to get to my neighbours to record TNG at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
There was a year and a half in the middle where you were watching 2 different seasons out of sync, but they were all new episodes.
Yeah. So yes, and the teleplay was by Robert Hewitt Wolf and Brandon Braga, and this is Braga's 12th of 24 for TNG. So we're halfway through Brandon's writing for TNG. It was directed by, drumroll, Patrick Stewart. Yes. His third.
Sir Peace-Stew.
His third of 5. We mentioned it before. He does like seemingly to direct Data episodes. A lot of his episodes are Data centric, and this is another Data one. And he's quite an interesting choice of director for this one, being a Shakespearean Brit with like no experience in westerns or anything like that.
Mazza should have some facts on that later, but it's an interesting choice, but also he ended up married up to a country and western singer, and a girl called Sonia Ozell, so it came full circle for him.
Yes. He obviously...
but it wasn't going to originally be him, actually. Right. There was, loads of the different directors wanted it. It didn't say who, but originally another director had been assigned, and then there was a switch, relatively last minute, but much to Stewart's delight. But yeah, he actually... Braga had no experience of... westerns, and neither did Patrick Stewart. So Brandon Braga watched a number of films. He said he watched dozens of them in preparation, and Patrick Stewart also started watching a whole bunch of them. Jerry Taylor recalled that he was watching 2 different classic westerns each night, and then he'd come in the next day with these ideas, and from the ideas they'd know exactly which westerns he'd watched because it was really specific, iconic.
There'd be a man with no name and he'd be wearing a boilerplate, and he looks just like Clint Eastwood. And he has to dig out a grave. Well, which one could it be?
Exactly. So yes, that's pretty fun. And also the title was originally going to be The Good, the Bad, and the Klingon. Which is another Eastwood film, but they changed it.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we all prefer a fistful of datas.
We do. It's more data-y.
I did forget one other thing was Wolf had pitched TNG stories quite a few times, but thus far hadn't been picked up on any. But one of the other ones that was pitched was about Picard and LaForge traveling back in time to 20th century Los Angeles before some riots, and they reused that idea for Deep Space Nine episodes Past Tense Part 1 and 2. Great double part of that. So obviously
that happens.
Ideas that he was pitching could all be used on DS9 anyway, but yeah.
That'll happen soon enough, actually. I think it's a year away, roughly. Past tense, that is, in
IRL.
The bell rides.
So, yeah. There you go. There's your first picture of the day. It kind of looks freaky with Data's face there staring at us through the picture.
Sorry, it's in September 2024. So just a little over a year away we get to experience it. Sorry.
Yeah, the bell riots. Yeah.
Nice DP.
I don't
Okay.
feel as though it looks weird with all the data's in the background. Finally, this is the first time you have some taste in your screen quality.
So yeah, there we go. Okay, teaser then. So the episode opens with a captain's log stating that the Enterprise has entered the orbit of Deinonychus 7, but the scheduled rendezvous of the supply ship Biko has been delayed for another 48 hours. In the meantime, many members of the crew are taking advantage of this delay to pursue their own projects. Captain Picard is in his quarters recording himself playing his Rezikin flute when he is frustratingly interrupted by a series of people with requests. Firstly, Geordi and Data ask permission to plug Data's brain into the ship's computer so that he can act as emergency backup should a ship-wide systems failure occur. Picard enthusiastically gives him permission to get back and gets back to his flute. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
What else would he be doing in the quarters on his own?
What? Twiddling with his flute?
Playing with his flute, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just an Irish expression? Never mind.
I thought it was really funny, given the history of Data and the ship and just understanding how fragile he is and whatnot. My first response, if I were Captain, I'd be like, "Are you crazy?" No.
Does that sound like a good idea?
No. How many times you've short circuited? I was like, remember that one time he took over the ship because he had a homing beacon activated? Lord knows what's like in the recesses of his mind. We don't even know how his brain works.
Well, in modern day computing, you can do a thing called a virtual machine, which is kind of a computer within a computer, and it's like it's only a pretend computer hiding within it, and you can mess it up. You can run viruses on it, and your normal computer is safe. And a holodeck is a bit like that. They could have just done it on the holodeck.
I mean, to be honest, that's true, and I think Tavikins is right. You know, they do not understand. They do not fully understand his neural brain. You know.
Yeah, he just drops the magnetic constrictors, and all the antimatter instantly explodes, and the ship goes. You know, whoopsie.
Yeah, whoops, brain fart. Oh no.
You know, fraction of a second, the ship, bang, gone.
Yeah. So
why would you attach a vehicle to a human to a brain? I don't know. To me, it's just like no.
Yeah.
Well, we see it with Barclay in the Nth Degree, but that won't work out.
Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Then Beverly enters to convince Picard to perform in her next play, Something for Breakfast, but Picard, you see, just doesn't have the time. And you know, he's not much of an actor anyway. But Beverly has thought of that and given him a small part with just 2 lines. The butler. Picard says he'll have to think about it. He kind of goes in this scene from being like, no, I don't have time for all that. And she's like, oh, you will be perfect for the role. He's like, oh, what? And he's like, you got 2 lines, you're the butler. And he's like, oh. He looks almost disappointed.
I do love the joke that he's like, I'm not much of an actor, says the actor.
Yeah,
the Shakespearean trained actor.
Yeah.
It's like you really wanted to be able to turn down a big part, not a small part.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So he says he tells Beverly he's going to think about it, and he goes back to his flute twiddling. But he doesn't actually even get a chance to play his flute this time before Worf is at his door. He's planned out some comprehensive set of security drills, but Picard thinks it would be better to arrange these after new personnel comes on board from Starbase 118. Worf suggests then performing some maintenance checks on the phaser array, but Picard suggests, rather than finding yourself some work, why don't you just go and enjoy yourself? Worf leaves, seemingly somewhat disgruntled, and Picard resumes his flute recording. In Worf's quarters, Alexander's lying on the floor playing some kind of game when he's excited to see his dad return, and he wants to know what the captain said. So it seems like Worf was supposed to be going and asking the captain for time off to spend with his son. Instead, he goes trying to find excuses why he can't have time off. He's a bad dad. Yeah. He's just a bad dad.
Okay, just that prop there, which is probably some sort of VTech thing. But do you see those slots at the back of it? Do you know what they are?
They look like 5 1/4-inch floppy disk drive slots.
That's exactly what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks really janky, that thing, doesn't it?
But I mean, it looks clunky by modern standards, but by future, I mean, this is my work laptop right here.
Yeah.
This looks less clunky than that.
Smiler Rainbow think it looks like one of those things where you like fill with water and try to like push pumps to get the hoops and little.
It's even slightly more fancy. It's touchscreen, so you can do that stuff with it. But yeah, I don't do that.
I used to have one that blew balls up, and you had to get them in like the crocodile's mouth or something like that.
Sean, you'll have to check StreamYard chat for me.
Okay.
In Wolf's Quarter. Oh no, I just said that.
Yeah, I mentioned Doctor Who. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't. Sorry, I didn't mention the Seth MacFarlane show. I'm under SAG-AFTRA rules. I can't speak about it. The Orville. Shit. Sorry, too late.
God damn it.
Did I ever tell you Ro nearly got the role of Kieran Reese? Okay.
Oh, shush.
Oh, hush up.
Where's my shush?
Shut up, Sean.
There you go. So, yes. So, Worf reluctantly informs Alexander that he has been released from his duties, and Alex is delighted. He places a Stetson on Worf's head and tells him to saddle up.
Happiness.
In happiness. He's so cute. And that was the end of your teaser. Question time.
Question time. So, what play does Beverly want Picard to perform in? A. The Breakfast Club. B. Breakfast at Tiffany's. C. Something for Breakfast. D. Guess Who's Coming for Dinner. Or E. The Admirable Crichton. And your bonus question. Who is the first person to walk into Picard's quarters?
Is that a singular person?
Yeah, well, yes, the first person to walk through the door.
It's one of two, so I've got
It's
a 50-50
one of two.
chance, I guess.
Yeah, well, I have to have some easy and some hard. I have to give everyone a chance for points on the board.
So, factoids and things. When they are, and I'm glad you didn't ask this question, early on when they say where they are, Picard says that they are going to, is it
Deinonychus?
Deinonychus, yeah.
Yeah,
which is a type of velociraptor or a type of dinosaur related
Oh,
to
is
that was nearly a question. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Deinonychus.
He also says that they are rendezvousing with a starship. That's not a question, is it?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, the name of the starship is, yeah.
What, you ask a question on that later?
Yeah.
All right, I won't say that then.
We'll leave that one
Picard's
till
flute
later.
was first seen in the Inner Light, as we know, and will later be seen in episode Lessons.
Mhm.
You see Picard too.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah. There was a comment that Crusher said we're practicing at 1:30, which it just in their sort of 24-hour timing is unusual to refer
Yeah, it'd be
to it like
13:30,
that, you know, or AM or PM or 1330 hours or something like that. I think you just mentioned that Alexander's game was floppy disk drives strapped together.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think anyone would think 1:30 was 1:30 in the morning, so I can see the thinking of that.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, the same sort of props as usual in Worf's quarters, like his chair that we've seen many times, and also the Ligonian Glavin, previously seen in Peak Performance, Reunion, and Redemption. And that's about it. Oh, the Mintakan tapestry from Who Watches the Watchers was in the background in his office. We've seen that a few times.
Yeah, it's on his chair, isn't it?
That's about it. Yeah.
I
That's
do.
it for now.
I do think it's possibly Geordie. It's obviously out of Geordie or Data, but Mazam Bob said Geordie, so I said Data. And I've seen some other people have gone Data. So
I'd say we have enough answers in there. Yes, it was Data. The D-Man was first in the door. And,
I haven't got mine.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm not going to fool anyone with the Breakfast Club or Breakfast at Tiffany's. It was something for breakfast. Guess Who's Coming for Dinner is a play in a film, but what Star Trek film was it?
Star Trek
mentioned?
6, The Undiscovered Country. It was Chekhov.
Yeah.
on the bridge, sat in the captain's chair.
The Admiral
That is actually a goof as well, because he sat in his chair just as Kirk's about to walk off the bridge, and literally a second later it goes to Chekhov, who's slumped in the captain's chair when he says, "Guess who's coming to dinner?" And it's like he magically transported chairs. Anyway.
Well, the reason the play is basically about a white woman who brings a black man back to the house to meet the family, and the racial tensions of that kind of set in the 60s. And that's the, obviously the racial tension of the Klingons coming over. That was the reference there. But the Admiral Crichton is about a butler called Crichton. And obviously the spelling is different, but that is the inspiration for the name of the android.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, bit of a deep-rooted reference there, but that's why it's there.
Mass said Geordie and Ruth said Geordie. So it's going to be me, Wookie, Stu Plum, and Tavi. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Unless anybody's going to tell me any differently. No, in that case, I'm going to spin that wheel. Do 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 do. It's Tabby.
So, I just have a feeling that today is going to be Tabby's day.
It's just one of those kind of episodes, isn't it?
Yeah, she's just going to have the spin of the wheel and the spin of everything else.
I am also hearing some echo. I don't know why, but just let it know.
It's probably my headphones on my. I wonder if I do this for you, whether this will make any difference.
It's just when I talk for some reason, but I mean I do have earphones in, so it's
there
not
you go.
On my side.
Does that help any? Again.
Hold on, I'm just going to give a level thing. Apologies. Level. Yeah, it seems fine now.
Yeah, that seems good.
Yeah, it's just for you guys, probably through StreamYard. Pick it up because my headset's right next to my mic. You're probably just hearing that a little bit.
Right.
Anyway,
sensitive mic.
Act 1. We're going into Act 1. There you go. You'd love us. Oh, I'm not reading that. Okay. Just reading Tyke's comments like, oh no. That was the wrong place. Yeah. That was the wrong place for that image to go. It needs to go over there. There we go. Okay, so.
Oh, it's a shot and a half, isn't it?
We are in Deadwood in the ancient West, i.e. the holodeck. Alexander informs Worf he is the sheriff and Alex is his deputy. Worf seems happy that at least he is law enforcement of some kind. Back in engineering, Geordie's plugging data into the computer, and I couldn't help but notice these plugs. They're like 3.5 mil. They're 3.5 mil audio jacks with one single black line, which means they're mono. They're mono 3.1 audio jacks, and I guess
that's why there's two of them.
That's why there's two of them, because that makes them, that carries the stereo feed. So they've just picked up some.
One ear goes and the other one doesn't. Oh, it's horrible. They've
just picked some like audio cabling up from the studio, haven't they, and just repurposed it for this shot.
Yeah, some sort of fiber optic cable they have as well. But yeah,
it made me laugh.
Yeah. Well, they have the fiber optic cable so they can show the kind of light flashes going through it. I get why they did that, but yeah, that's exactly what they did. Well, look, it's cheap and plentiful, and they plug it in.
They don't actually show the light going through it, though, do they? I don't think.
In the Lower Decks crossover, because I just saw it on one of the costumers on Strange New Worlds said it. The ensign pip they used for Boimler is just a gold-colored or gold-sprayed neodymium magnet. They just use two of them back to back to put it on. So just ones you can buy off Amazon, gold neodymium magnets. They just use what they have. It was cheap. It was there. It was beside them. Same as the 5.5-inch floppy. So they just had them. There's
some really low tech looking things in this episode.
Those look like old printer ports.
Yeah. So Data is commenting on Geordie growing another beard, but he feels it's too early to give an opinion on how it looks yet. He has to wait until his... I'm looking a little more shorn this week myself. Maybe I will get a proper beard again one day. Who knows?
Oh, you're like a sheep. You need a summer cut to stop you overeating.
What is that?
This is Norwegian connected.
Oh, it looks interesting.
It's a thick, very dense cracker made out of all the flour they swept up from the grain mill when they're in their days of peasantry. And then they baked it all together into this disc of dust. It tastes just like dust, but somehow it is strangely satisfying. It's like chewing, just chewy, chewy, chewy.
Okay, it's like a hard tack or something. All right.
It's like Letmus bread from the hard version of Letmus bread from Lord of the Rings.
I forgot. Wookie wanted my hair. Yeah, he's gonna make a wig or something. Yes. So Data is. I've just said that. Geordie's feeling uncomfortable. He never feels comfortable working on Data's head like this, opening his ports. And he tells Data he's not any ordinary electronic system. And Data replies that Geordie isn't any ordinary biological organism. Anyway, they complete the interface and they begin testing it. Whilst they're doing that, in the holodeck, Worf and Alexander walk through Deadwood and they pass Miss Langford's house of pleasure. A nice young lady on the terrace tries to entice Worf inside. And he looks down at his little boy and questions that you actually wrote this program. And Alexander admits that he did have help from Lieutenant Barclay, which explains a lot. Worf's going to have a talk with Reg once they finish this program. In the saloon, Eli Hollander, a wanted criminal, is shooting a wanted poster. He's angry as he feels that the artist didn't draw him ugly enough. His Mexican partner laughs at everything he does, which annoys Eli. After they empty their whiskey glasses, they watch as Worf and Alexander enter the saloon. Alexander explains to Worf that Eli is the bad guy and the toughest gunslinger in the West, and it's Worf's job to arrest him. And Worf's like, okay then, let's do this thing. Worf walks up to Eli and tells him he's under arrest. Eli's about to say, is that so, when Worf palm punches him right in the nose and knocks him out. Job done. Alexander's not happy though. It was far too easy. So he increases the difficulty level and resets the scene.
I would say if you hit someone like that and they're not expecting it, they will actually fall over like that. That's not a trick.
Yeah,
you just straight up do it. They'll just go.
He sucker punches him good and proper. He's like, job done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Program ended. I can get back to my life. Alexander's not having any of it. The scene plays out as it did before, with Eli shooting the poster and his companion laughing and Worf and Alexander entering the saloon, but this time the piano player stops and everyone in the saloon leaves except Eli and his accomplices. When Worf approaches, this time he doesn't punch him straight away and Eli gets a drink from the bar and admits to killing 23 men. What's one more? Besides, Eli thinks Worf's so ugly, it wouldn't even be considered a crime. He wonders if his mummy had married an armadillo. I think there's some harsh burns going on there from Eli to Worf. I was like, I don't come in a holodeck for this kind of behavior.
It's a bit personal.
It is a bit personal, isn't it?
Yo, mama jokes.
Yo,
I will say,
mama's an
compared
armadillo.
to normal Klingon insults, that's quite mild. So it's water off a duck's back to him, because the things the Klingons say to each other is much worse.
I don't know. Worf's not your average Klingon, though, is he? Let's face it.
No, well, that's true.
Armadillo. Crunchy on the outside, smooth in the middle. Armadillo.
I prefer dime bars.
Yeah, let's say
Tommy's like, what?
Only UK people would understand that joke. Or UK and Irish by the looks of things.
Yeah, we had those ads
Did
over
you have
here.
dime bars?
They were good.
Dime.
The guy in the anorak, yeah, it's good. Decent.
Armadillo. Yeah. Okay, so Worf gets into a fist fight with Eli's henchmen, and now he's getting to understand why this program's so enjoyable. But Eli, sorry, is it?
Violence.
Violence. Yeah, you look at his face. Look, he's punched some guys, and now he's like, yeah, come get some.
I don't suppose you have a picture just before he gets hit over the back with a chair.
Oh, I'd have to go back.
Chair collapse.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that scene in is it not Nemesis? Insurrection, where he goes, definitely feeling some useful tendencies or something, you know.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of action going on.
Violence.
Oh, hello.
We're nearly there.
Look out. That was it, I think. That was all we got.
No, we don't have it.
Forward. Yeah. Forward.
Yeah, you'd like look out. Yeah.
Who's that?
What's what?
That says.
Oh, yes.
It's not often you get a full facial of a stunt double.
Oh, yeah, crumbs. Do you know, I would not have noticed. Even when you said it, I still didn't quite pick up on it, you know. But yeah, it's
Got a stunt double.
totally not Worf.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's so heavily made up, it's harder to tell them with some of the other stunt doubles. But it's his eyes mainly that look really wrong.
Yeah. I say, if you just take the eyes out, you just wouldn't know, would you? But the eyes give it away.
The only other bit of him you can see, other than hair and prosthetics, is his cheeks.
Yeah.
As I said, if it was a modern show, one of the ones they're making now, they could have just got his eyes a little bit wider, you know, post. You definitely wouldn't know at all. Yeah, good spot.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. Very good.
There's one or two dodgy data doubles later, but we'll get to those.
Yeah.
So Eli has his gun on him and tells him not to twitch a whisker unless he wants a shave. It looks like it's the end of the road for Sheriff Worf. But then, a lone stranger enters the saloon and shoots Eli's hat off. Alexander's like, oh yeah, and I invited Counselor Troi as well.
Well, he did, or it would have been a short program.
In engineering, they're continuing their tests of Data controlling the Enterprise, but then Data finds an energy fluctuation in his neural net, so they initiate the disconnect. As Data gets up to follow Geordi over to analyze what went wrong, Data holsters his tricorder as though he's a Western gunslinger. He does like the flick and sticks it in. And that's the end of
Act 1. I feel like if I were in engineering and I'm just seeing them hook Data up into stuff, and that it would just be like co-worker commentary. I'd be like, you see what they're doing over there? You really think they're doing that? Say that again, Sean.
I didn't say anything. You just had a bit of echo there.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry, can someone just tell us in the chat, are you getting echo on the stream, or are we just getting it on StreamYards?
Yeah, well, it might just be on StreamYard, but yeah, you.
If it's just that, we can ignore it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was saying like just the coworker commentary that will be going on in the background, just like other people going, "Oh man, you see what are they really hooking them up? Yeah, they're really hooking up. Like, should we say something? Like, should we say something?" That would just be me nervous in the background going, I'm going to go to the bathroom. The warp core might explode, and I'd rather be sitting comfortably when it does.
Yeah, there's no echo on the stream. It's just us, so it's whatever StreamYards is doing.
Yeah, StreamYard's doing some weird things. Yeah, so that's the end of Act 1. It is question time.
All right, let's throw in another question here. I never know where you're going to pause and talk about it, so this question might be a slight bit obvious. Finish the line. Were you born that way, or did your mother marry a blank? A, armadillo, B, hedgehog, C, turtle, D, tortoise.
I love the idea of it being a tortoise.
I thought it was a good question, but I didn't know where you were going to pause.
It's good.
Yeah. And the bonus question, and again, I didn't know where you were going to pause. What physical action does Data first perform that might indicate his program is compromised? Yeah, Ruth's on the dime bars. She's straight out of the shop for a dime bar. Do you ever get the dime bars that are in the Cadbury's? You know, the dime Cadbury bars. Oh, they're immense.
Armadillo. Crunchy on the outside, smooth in the middle.
I love how an ad from like 25, 30 years ago probably aired while I was watching this episode.
Probably.
So it's just
probably is around the same time.
It's just stuck in my head, and it's still.
Yeah.
Damn. From Ruth.
Oh, it was Harry Enfield in that. I didn't even know that.
Oh, was it Dime? Oh, yeah, sorry. I was
Hang on.
Of course.
Well, it used to be spelled D-A-I-M, and then it's spelled D-I-M-E, or the other way around. One of those.
Yeah.
Was it D-I-A-D?
Damn.
D-I-M, and then they changed to D-I-M-E, or the other way around. Danish or something, I don't know.
I'm gonna hang on.
I'm trying to find the armadillo.
You guys, I'll have to reshare it another way if you guys want to hear it. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Here we go.
Excuse me. Ever eaten a dime bar?
Nope.
Would you mind trying one?
Nope.
Did you like the surprising combination of crisp caramel stuff and delicious milk chocolate, smooth on the outside, crunchy on the inside?
Nope. I likes armadillos.
Smooth on the inside, crunchy on the outside. Armadillos!
Dime, the surprising alternative to armadillos.
2 armadillos?
You're a bit thick, really, aren't you?
Yeah, apparently it's Swedish, so that's why it's spelled D-A-I-M.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
D-I-M-E.
You do have them. You don't have the armadillo ad. Yeah, it was 95 apparently. So
1995 wasn't far off this episode then.
Not particularly, no. But there is a very strong chance you watched an episode of TNG, and in the ad breaks you saw that. I'd say near 100%.
Yeah. There we go.
So.
This in the US, there was a similar bar, and it's called the Heath Bar. I thought that one was the English one, but I'm guessing you guys don't have Heath.
No, don't have Heath.
Don't know that one.
Never heard of that.
No. But yes, today the TNG review brought to you by Dime Bars.
Armadillo.
Yeah. Brought to you by Armadillos.
So, for some little bits of trivs and stuff, in that first shot of the frontier town, you can kind of see like the building on the left. They shot it a few times actually, but it only looks like it's about like 10 foot deep. It almost looks like it's part of a studio lot, obviously, and it should have another bit attached to it, or maybe it should be off screen so that you can't see how deep it is, but it looks like quite obviously fake. I love how they don't call it the Old West, they call it the Ancient West, you know, because it's older now than it was.
Like would they actually do that? Like, I'm sure it's always just going to be the Old West. I mean,
the Old West.
I would think so. Yeah.
I just think that seems a little silly, to be honest.
The Old West period was only about 35 years. It was a really short period of time, even by American history standards.
Yeah, you're talking sort of 1840 to 1880 type time, isn't it?
Yeah, like
or 1850 to 1900. It's the late 1800s anyway.
Westerns were like the predominant version of films for over 100 years. But like they were making films about it longer than it actually was. It was such a small period.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
it's exciting
I'm older
though. It was exciting,
the Wild
wasn't
West
it?
Period.
I mean, it's inspired things even like Star Trek, because you know this was the the frontier exploration that they did in the Old West. They just carried forward things like Star Trek. So it was massively
more so in Star
inspirational.
Wars, you do see like the Book of Boba Fett and stuff. You see like they'd have these standoffs in towns with Cad Bane and things. There's a mixture of kind of samurai stuff and Wild West stuff, but in fairness, all the Wild West stuff was influenced by Japanese cinema, so I suppose it's all the one, really.
Yeah. Anything else there?
All right, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Sorry, Maz, apologies.
That's all right. What else? Obviously, they noticed LaForge is growing a beard, which gets a bit fuller in the next episode, Quality of Life. There's a wanted poster. There's you haven't got any questions about the wanted poster, have you?
Nope.
Okay, so it's got a 5,000 reward on it. Wanted Dead or Alive, Eli Hollander, aka the Butcher of Bozeman. So they've actually spelled Bozeman wrong on the wanted poster twice. So it's supposed to be Bozeman with a Z, and Bozeman was actually Brannon Braga's hometown, so that's why he called it that.
There's a number of Bozeman references in Braga stories.
Yeah,
So-
and where else does Bozeman come up?
USS Bozeman, wasn't it a ship?
Well, that as well, but it was in First Contact.
Was it? Yeah.
It's where they launched the Phoenix from.
Oh, right, yeah. But was that a co-written by
Bozeman,
Braga
Montana,
as well?
is it?
Bozeman, Montana, yeah. Small little town in the middle of nowhere.
Ah, that's cool.
But you know, I think it's only 2151 is First Contact Day. So if we're all alive in 30 years or 28 years, you know, there's gonna be there's gonna be a big Trek convention there.
Hang on.
I mean, nothing will happen, but it'll be fun.
Isn't it 21?
2151.
You're missing 100 years there, Sean.
If I'm still alive in 2151, I'll be impressed.
Sorry. No, 2051. I meant to say.
Oh, is it? I thought it was 2151.
No, sorry. 5th of April, 2063. So,
Oh, right. Okay.
So I'll be well in my 70s, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll be nearly 90. Probably not gonna make it.
Modern medicine, you might make it.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Wookie, what's a tuppence? I don't know what a tuppence is. I'm more of a curly-whirly man myself.
Well, this that's what I was sort of starting to write, was a tuppence, ? As far as I know, it's a euphemism for lady parts.
Oh, like a purse? Or
No,
So just to explain, we get a lot of UK sweets over here. We don't get them all, but we do have our own stuff sometimes.
yeah. Your clamshell. Yeah.
In Norway, it's a mouse. Your
Mouse.
little nail.
Yeah, I think I've heard mini before. Anyway, what else? Oh, and you know that he murdered 23 people?
23.
Apparently, according to the poster, that was 19 men and 4 women. The necktie, Worf's necktie changes, but the reason why it changes is because one minute it's him, the next minute it's his stunt double. So it looks like a slight shift in his clothes, but that's because it's a completely different person. Durango obviously shoots the hat off of Eli, but actually has a Winchester Model 1873 lever-action rifle. So then when she continues to threaten them with a gun, it's actually empty because it would have only held one shot. And originally, Marina Sirtis was going to play the dancing girl from the saloon instead of the stranger, but got recast into a different role. They're originally going to have a story to do with a greedy land baron, but then they decided to change the plot to pay homage to Rio Bravo instead. And the episode also has some similarities with The Adventures of Briscoe County from 1993, a short-lived TV show which began shortly after and featured several TNG alumni.
I'm glad Deanna's role got changed. I didn't read that fact, but I'm glad it got changed because she spent enough time in the first couple of seasons of TNG being the damsel in distress, and Captain, I'm sensing that he's angry at me, and not being able to do anything. So I'm glad they expanded her role post Jellicoe to give her a proper space.
It's like Crush has had a few action roles recently, so it's nice that Deanna gets a chance.
And minor spoiler, obviously, it would have ruined the comic end to the episode. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Good evening, G-Star. I hope you're well, sir. Having a good week. And a Smiler Rainbow, you made me laugh when you said by the time we get to First Contact Day, I might be a head in a jar. Like,
brilliant.
Futurama.
Yes, Futurama is back in the air. Yeah,
is it
10
really?
Years.
Crikey.
And do you remember when that show premiered, when it debuted?
No.
Not specifically.
I think, the episode was set, I don't know if it came out on this day, the episode was set on the January 1st, 2000 because it was set at the turn of the millennium. So it's over 23 years old. It's been cancelled 3 times.
Yeah, it's been. I know it's been cancelled and come back before.
Yeah, well, back in the day, DVD sales used to bring it back, but I don't know, it's still coming back. I'm not complaining. It's okay.
Streaming services are desperate for anything to put out there on. It's like, what can we bring back? We need content.
Yeah, as I said, I know
Futurama,
Prodigy is coming back. I've seen it written that the deal is 99% done, but just what's not being released is where the deal is 99% done with. But I'm reasonably sure that Paramount Plus is just going to buy it back because they're going to have huge gaps in their schedules, of their 40, 50 weeks of Star Trek next year. But if they can just put Prodigy back in, that makes their lives a hell of a lot easier when they make all the other shows.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my!
Oh, that was wrong. I meant to do that.
Shut up, Sean.
There you go. No. Yeah, I could.
Shut up, Sean. According to my chat, you could have put that in.
So, answers to the question.
Yeah, we may as well have those. Yeah, so it was Armadillo, to the surprise of nobody. And yes, the first action is he holsters his tricorder, whatever way you want to express that.
Right. Who got their names on the dial then? Anyone? No? Nobody knows?
You're on mute, Mazza.
Mazza, Tavi, Monty Ban, Ruth,
Yes.
Stuplam.
Ruth, Stuplam. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all of us then. I'm spinning that wheel. I gotta create some spin the wheel music.
You should learn.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Told you, it's Tammy's night.
This is my episode.
Unbelievable.
This is crazy. This is set up.
It's 2 in a row. Look at that. Oh dear.
Oh.
What?
The wheel knows what's up.
Whatever, wheel. Whatever. All right. Act 2 then. Let's get on. And okay, so Worf and Alexander are watching over their prisoner in the sheriff's jail. Worf wonders what they're supposed to do with him at this time period. Do we hold a trial or do I just execute him straight away? Alexander tells him that they have to wait for the US Marshal to arrive who will take him to the big city for trial. Eli, who's playing some cards in his cell, ain't worried though, as he thinks his pa is coming to bust him out. Then the gravedigger will be working overtime tonight. Troi, who calls herself Durango, as Massimo Blob just said, thinks Eli is right. The sheriff is no match for the Hollanders. And besides, she's just passing through. She ain't no deputy. Worf's like, Counselor Troi, I would very much like some support in this matter. Troi corrects him. It's Durango. We're in the holodeck. Remember Durango?
Counselor Durango.
Yeah, Counselor Durango. Maybe you could be a temporary deputy. So Durango agrees to be a deputy for $500. So Worf tasks Alexander to go to the bank and get some cash. I did a quick calculation, or I Googled it. $500 in around 1870 is about $15,000 equivalent.
Yep.
So he just sent his deputy with a sack over to the bank to draw out $15,000 in cash in Deadwood to walk back to the jail.
I think it may be $2,000 or something. I know you're risking your life, but it's for like 3 days. Yeah, it's a bit much. And if you extend that further, the bounty, sorry, I have to think of the word, was 5,000. So it's obviously $150,000. I mean,
yeah, 150,000.
Who's not turning them in for that money? There's no honor amongst thieves.
No. So
I don't think I would have walked that money anywhere. I would have been like, okay, Durango, you can come to the bank. I'll hand you the money at the bank, and you can walk off with it and see how far you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why would a bank, like, at least in the modern day, you can't just walk into a bank and take $15,000 out. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. They just don't have that much cash.
No.
To order it days in advance, and they ask you all sorts of AML questions.
I looked it up because I just, from watching things like Deadwood, I just thought $500. That sounds a lot.
Yeah.
I never talk about that much money, yeah. So anyway, Worf wonders how Troi knows so much about this time period. It turns out that her dad used to read her stories about the ancient West when she was a little girl, and she always wanted to play the part of the mysterious stranger. They then get a visit from the owner of the Gold Strike Saloon, Annie. She's annoyed that Worf can't remember her name. He's like, Miss... She tells him that she's making him dinner tonight, and she has pure beeswax candles. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever played any of the Fallout games. Oh my. Find that. There we go. Sorry. But there's a perk called a Mysterious Stranger, and if you're in the middle of a fight, someone just turns up and starts shooting people for you.
Yeah. Worf declines the dinner invitation as he has to watch over his prisoner. She then accuses Worf of being with that floozy at Miss Langford's house of pleasure, and she channels Miss Piggy with a hi-ya and slaps him across the face and walks out. In Picard's quarters, he's trying to listen to the flute recording that he made earlier when the music transitions from his flute recording to a full orchestra playing Anton Dvorak's Slavonic Dance Opus 46 number 8, though the computer confirms that it was Picard's own recording. In the definitely not...
In the computer not wanting to play shite, it's like, oh God.
I'm not playing that.
Be like, you can't play
children's recorder music. Yeah.
And here they're in the rehearsal space, which is definitely not any room we've seen before, and certainly not the observation lounge.
Yes, I've even put in my script in the definitely not the observation lounge. Beverly's directing rehearsals of her play Something for Breakfast. When Will recites his lines, he ends up reciting Data's Ode for Spot. Beverly checks the pad and finds that her play has been replaced by Data's poetry works. She takes
it was
the pad.
Also shite.
She takes the pad down to engineering, and Geordi finds that the pad is fine, and that they agree to look into the computer core to see if their experiment that they did earlier has caused some other issues. I like the way though this scene. We'll investigate the computer core. So Geordi goes about his business with the doctor just like patiently looking over him, and after a while she's like, "You will find my play." And he's like, yeah. Well, I'll tell you as soon as I found it. It's just quite funny, I thought. Anyway.
Can you imagine the mindset now? Everything's digital, so it's not like they'd have a hard copy of anything. There's no pencil and paper outside of something they'd replicate and write their stuff down. So,
well, there's an episode of Voyager where an alien comes onto the ship, and she'd been on the ship and she left, but she'd fallen in love with Chakotay, and then she comes back and they fall in love again, and her species have an innate ability to make everyone forget they exist. So he just sits there and writes it out in pen and paper just to make sure that he can't forget her after she goes.
It'd be backed up in the cloud, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's only if they're in range of a starbase.
Be fully downloadable at source, though, right?
Well, it should be, because there's three cores
on
the 3 data cores on the Enterprise. So yeah, it should be one of them.
You can't lose data in that day and age.
No,
they don't call it the cloud in Deep Space. They call it the nebula.
Nebula, yeah, that's it.
Well, the ships have three cores, and all of them are independent. All of them are capable of running the ship, which also makes it slightly more ludicrous that they have a situation where all 3 of them have gone and they need data to do it. I'll just stop there.
But no, I did think this was funny, because I'd do the same sort of thing in work when we used to work in the actual office, and I'd like put a security request that wasn't getting actioned or something. I'd just walk downstairs and like just sit on someone's desk. so it got done. It was the way of getting things done.
Didn't you do that to
Room.
the facilities management team when they wouldn't remove that big tree that had fallen into my garden?
Yes.
2 weeks later, you
that's
went and
right.
stood at their
I
desk
just-
until they did something about
Yeah, I
it.
just stood in the middle of their office and just said, "No, carry on." And they were just
Oi.
like, it was just rather ominous. Me just standing looking over their shoulder the whole time. So they
And
got
like,
on
we'll
with
have a
it.
comment at the end of the day. And it's like, okay, I'll be back tomorrow if it isn't.
Yeah, I'll stand here again. I got all day. Anyway, there we go. So, right. Here we go. So Deputy Alexander is making his way back from the bank with a bag of money. Let's face it, he might as well just had swag written across that bag there. So yes,
That's
when-
also not enough coins.
it doesn't look that amount, does it?
Even if there were dollars, that doesn't quite look like 500 coins. No.
So he gets grabbed by Eli's henchmen. They take him to a mine shaft, and he's confronted by Frank Hollander, seemingly today played by Data. Alexander, sensing something is off, tries freezing the program, but that does not work. And we're left with that shot of Frank Hollander looking
Data
really,
And his porn stash.
yeah.
Yep.
And that's the end of Act 2.
You're about to get a fistful.
It's question time.
Throw it in there. So, what tempo does Picard want the music replayed at? A. Adagissimo. B. Allegretto. C. Andante. D. Allegro. I said somewhere hard, somewhere easy. And yeah, as again, I don't know what you're going to pick out in your script. How much was Deanna's fee for being deputized?
Ah, I know this. Just looking back at the chat, is there a Doctor Who episode where you forget once you stop looking at them? There is. I remember that.
Blink in specific, but there's other episodes where they
No, that's where they move. When they,
Yeah.
but there's another episode where there's these
Oh,
aliens that
the silence you're talking about.
He's
Yeah, there's
silence.
a whole season about that.
yeah once you stop looking at them, you forget you ever encountered them.
Yeah, you need to have this optical computer in your eye in order to be able to remember.
That sort of
them
saves
after you
that
turn
data
away,
for you, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, Doctor Who's great when it's great. Hasn't been there for a while, but sure, we'll see. It's come back for the 60th.
Yeah. Does In the Nebula have Blueface? Oh, in Nebula. Oh, I get it. Marvel character. There we go. I was a bit slow on the uptake on that one. The gears had to grind in my head for a little bit before I figured that one out. All right, Maz and Bob.
dollar sign, so I just put pounds. But
I just put 500. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Tovikins. $300.
Gangster right there.
Have you guys seen that check that someone actually wrote out and they were like ghetto as hell and they put $50
Fitty.
like 50.
$50.
Well, I did see a thing where a woman's name was Air Recca, AIR hyphen or dash WRECKA, and she's like, no, I pronounce it Erica.
Oh,
It
right.
was like Air hyphen Recca. It was like Erica.
Brilliant.
There's an actual name that I know someone named their child, so I don't know if I should say it, but it was so ridiculous that I just couldn't. It was how would you spell Ladasha?
Oh, yes, I've seen this. Yeah.
So it was LA dash with an A on it. Her name was Ladasha.
Oh, the actual dash was pronounced dash.
Yeah. See, in the UK they would say hyphen, but
The
so it wouldn't
dash.
work at all.
I see.
Should be
Yeah,
la hyphena.
Yeah. Well, Irish is just as bad because you got Siobhan. So, you know.
Yeah, that works within our language.
Yeah.
There's other languages. We have our own rules. You
So
don't ask what you see a guy called Philip. You don't call him Behilip. You just accept the fact that name is
Philip.
different. It comes from Greek.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's funny because it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Greek. Behilip is a Greek name. Siobhan is an Irish name. That's how it goes.
Oh, she paused. She got to the pause button in time.
Right.
All right. Okay, we've had enough time on the questions. Sorry.
No, we haven't.
You go ahead,
I haven't done
Mazza.
any trivia yet. You give me a chance.
No,
get to
go on.
Maz.
Go on. Watch it up.
So apparently, when Marina was with the cigar, she tried to blow smoke rings, but Michael Dorn said, "Stop it! You're not allowed to be funnier than me. This is my show." And instead, she resorted to just blowing smoke in his face. You mentioned that the music was Antonin Dvorak. It was the Slavonic dance, number 8 in G minor.
It was number 46. I was hoping it was going to be number 47. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There was a 47 there.
Right, we haven't got.
Mazza might have it.
We got a 47
It's
coming up.
later.
It's coming up. It's coming. It'll be there in a minute.
There's a subtle homage to Clint Eastwood's directing style when Crusher was doing her thing with Riker and directing him, because she said, "Whenever you're ready," instead of action. And apparently that's what Clint Eastwood always used to say when he was directing. Obviously, Ode to Spot was in it, which made its debut in Schisms. And then I've got a bunch of stuff about where they were actually and some of the shooting stuff. So they had really limited time to shoot this show, and especially on the Western set. So Patrick Stewart asked for all the sets to be set up at night so that they could start immediately for daylight shooting. There was also, Patrick Stewart was saying he got, I think I already said that. Sorry.
Unusually on that, Maz, the Western set, the outside Western set was is Universal's. So for a CBS Paramount Pictures production, they actually hired out Universal Pictures Western set on the Universal lot in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it's unusual that they do that.
Known as Western Town.
Western Town.
In Universal City Plaza.
I had a look at it, and it looks nothing like it does there now, so I couldn't recognise any of the buildings. But it's still there. They still use it.
And they used it for Picard season, was it 1 or 2? Do you know where he beams down to a Romulan refugee planet, and he tries to get a drink at a bar and no one will serve him? He's in the same place. Yeah. And I randomly looked that up because Jörg Gillibrand was asking the question. It wasn't even printed anywhere. That's how much of a nerd I am.
So the bit I was struggling to read all the stuff on, it was just big para, was the fact that apparently some of the scenes were shot after the sun had set, but they used bright lights to simulate daylight, and it's pretty much indistinguishable from the other shots, which was pretty good going. But another issue was they had really hot temperatures. It was 113 degrees in the shade. And the production designer was saying that it was awful. Everybody was struggling, particularly Michael Dorn, because of obviously his Klingon makeup and wig. And one of the 3 people doubling for Brent Spiner. So yeah, they all felt for Michael. They kept running it off to like air conditioning units that they had nearby, because Data should never be observed sweating, right? So they had to try and keep as cool as possible, but it made it really difficult. And Patrick Stewart, out of his excitement to direct the episode, completely forgot to put on sunblock and got really badly sunburnt while he was shooting. He really enjoyed the shooting though, notwithstanding the heat, because he had 3 cameras rolling most of the time, including a slow-mo camera, and had the biggest crane that they could get in Hollywood. So he had some great toys to play with. And he actually said he buckled into the spare seat alongside the camera on the crane, and he had a megaphone and he was shouting action like up on a big crane, and just had a really
felt like a big Hollywood director.
Yeah. That's how you feel like a director on a crane with a megaphone. Absolutely.
Yeah. Sounds like fun despite the heat.
I forgot something I was going to mention earlier on, and that was Eli Hollander, the guy, the gunslinger that they arrested and put in jail. John Piper Ferguson. I thought he looks kind of familiar, but not familiar to me, you know. And so I looked him up on IMDb, and I know where, you know, like you do when you see someone, you're like, have I seen him somewhere before? He hasn't been in any other Star Trek productions, but what he was in was The Last Ship. Anybody seen The Last Ship? Oh, it's pretty good.
I didn't.
It's like after it's a bit like a bad version of COVID, really, as this virulent thing has like killed off the entire world. But this American frigate was in the Antarctic at the time, so it was like immune, stuck out in the Atlantic, so it tries to help bring the American civilization back from the brink. It's called The Last Ship, but he plays a guy called Tex in it, and he's got like a beard and long hair. He's kind of like
Where's he from?
Tex. I think he might be from Texas. But he plays like a Marine. He's like a hard dude. He's like a Marine type. But he's a pretty cool character in the ship. But he's been in. I mean, you look at his IMDb. He's been in everything from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to The 100 to The Rookie to Burn Notice, all sorts of things. But yeah, that was Eli Hollander. Go answers to the questions then, Sean.
Absolutely. So, the first question. Which tempo do you want the music played at? It was Allegro. And her fee was $500. Or $300 or Erica or Ladasha or whatever other...
10 times 50.
Other answers.
10
times
50.
50. Whatever it was, yeah.
Right, who got that one right then? Did we all get it right? Are we all on there? I assume we all got it right.
Yeah, I think most people did. Ruth, Monteban, Mazza, G-Star,
G-Star?
Yep.
G-Star,
well,
right.
He said, put my name on that wheel and spin me a win. I've got to go, but I love you all.
Right. We'll see if we can see if you can get you a win there, G-Star. I'll spin it.
I get why everyone got 500, but how you all got Allegro, I don't know. Fair play to you. You cracked it.
It helps that I just said it. I think that's...
Yeah, but they were all really similar sounding, and you didn't hang on it too long. But anyway.
Stupler!
Well done, Stupler.
Your prayers are answered.
Well done, Stupler. Tavi, Stuplum's broke your shackles on the wheel of misfortune.
I know. If
Yeah.
we didn't put G-Star on there, it would have been me.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. Okay, then. So we're into Act 3. And Act 3 begins in Data's quarters. He's ordering a feline supplement for his cat Spot.
Oh, look at the way he's looking up at him.
It's
Okay.
This is the latest formulation he's come up with, but Spot is not interested. Data concludes that maybe hunger will compel the cat to try the food again later. Yep, we sometimes play that game with Chewie. Data continues his work analysing the computer core, but Spot keeps jumping on his table. I wonder what they put in that laptop thing there.
Yeah, obviously eating something, but the fact that he jumped up twice after being put down, it's hell of the training.
It's catnip. That's what he's got there. He's on the good stuff. They've got the good stuff there for that cat.
Brent said it was his idea to put the cats in. Also, as soon as he did it, he regretted it because he just had these long, like 4, 5, 6 hour scenes just trying to get the cat to jump up twice or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And substituting different cats in and out. It wasn't good.
In the end, Data removes him, saying, "Vamoosh, you little varmint." Sheriff Worf enters the Gold Strike Saloon looking for his deputy, and he hasn't seen him, but wants to know what he wants to drink. Worf orders Klingon fire wine, showing that he still doesn't understand how holodecks work. Annie mistakes it for some drink, something European that they might serve over at Miss Langford's, and storms off in a huff. Then Frank Hollander arrives, and Worf mistakes him for Data and greets him
He
with
looks
a,
so good in that one.
"Hello, Commander. What are you doing here?"
Is the porn stash not putting you off at all?
I don't know. He can use that to justify.
That just adds to the fun.
Fair
doesn't it?
enough.
That's just a
Okay.
that's just a fun creator. That.
That's a French tickler right there.
Yeah, it is. Callister arrives. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. What are you doing here, Commander Data? The look on Data's face tells Worf that he ain't messing. So Worf gets back into character. Hollander wants his boy. "I want my boy," and he wants to know what the sheriff is going to exchange for it. Wants an exchange. Worf says he doesn't want anything. Hollander doesn't have anything he wants and goes on enjoying his whiskey. Hollander's like, "Oh yeah, what about your deputy?" But Worf decides he doesn't negotiate with criminals. Hollander's son will stand trial. Worf goes to leave Hollander. Worf goes to leave. Hollander grabs Worf's shoulder, and with Data's strength causes Worf some pain. And Worf wonders what Data's playing at. But Hollander's like, "I don't play games, Sheriff." And Worf tries to freeze the program because he realized something is very wrong here. But the program won't freeze. Hollander warns him not to walk out those doors, so he doesn't walk out the doors. He dives out the doors. And here's a picture of Worf kind of diving out the door. It's the best I could get. There isn't really a good picture of him diving out the doors. But there's the picture of them trying to shoot Worf as he's diving out the doors. And Worf goes back to the jail and warns Troi that there are some issues with the holodeck. The safeties are off. And Troi points out, "Oh my God, you've been shot." Worf explains that Hollander looks like Data, but it's not Data. And he has captured his son. From his cell, Eli mocks them having difficulties with his pa. But it's not the Eli we know anymore. Eli is now Data as well. And that's the end of Act 3. Who shot the sheriff? Data.
That was a jolly quick act.
It was
How does
quick.
Bob Marley like his donuts? With jamming.
With jamming. With jamming. You like jamming too.
I'm going to go see
What
his
trick-
house in September.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Yeah, hopefully you have a good time. So, what drink does Worf order in the bar? A, blood wine. B, fire wine. C, prune juice. D, Rectino. And the bonus question is, which state, as in which US state, is Brent Spiner from?
Oh shit, I'm waiting for Tabby to answer.
I'm gonna wait it out.
I'm gonna have to guess. I am gonna have to guess.
But I was more of a Toots and the Maytals kind of fan, and then I had tickets to see him, and then I think I had tickets to see him in July, and he died in August. But the gig in July didn't happen because of COVID. Anyway, he was getting on in life, and then COVID killed him before I got a chance to see him. So, Toots not as famous as Bob Marley, but yeah, he was big in his own way back in the day, and he didn't die young.
I don't think he's from Texas. Do you know that, or did you just was that a guess? I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a Texan. Oh, Maz is staying stum on that.
Look, he's throwing in an
She's good
answer
at
like
poker, isn't she?
he's not on the wheel already. Look, you're on the wheel already. If you win, everyone else loses.
Yeah. Anyone on the
I
wheel.
want Wookie to win his house. Only if it's a home birth. Only
I
if it's
thought
a
he was
home-
responding to my comment about Bob Marley's house. I thought that was his house. But yeah, in Jamaica.
in the middle of the
Jamaica.
street.
His house.
Bob Marley's house.
Anyway, shall
Okay.
I?
You'd know madness, Tabby, but fair play to you.
God damn it! It is Texas. I did not know. I did not know that. Abstain.
I don't have very much trivia for this act. It was a very short act. But when Durango is practicing her quick draw, she's not cocking her weapons, so she wouldn't have been able to fire at anybody anyway. Worf's been shot in the arm, and Troi wraps a very loose, unconvincing tourniquet that would not stem any flow of blood. And Prince Spanier had a rare treat getting to play other characters other than Data. He stated in many convention appearances that his android character was very easy for him to play, and he actually liked playing Laura much better. And in this show, obviously, he had a chance to play 5 or 6 characters, and having Patrick Stewart directing it made it additionally fun. He said it was one of the most fun episodes he's had to do, and he would have liked to have done another show called For a Few Datas More.
That's pretty good, eh? Yeah, that's going good.
That's all I've got for this act.
That's all you got.
I'll just give you a random fact.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, everybody's answered.
I accidentally mixed. I didn't realize. Yeah, you're right. This act was a bit short. The previous act, I accidentally put in 4 questions for, and then I only realized afterwards that I'd done that and had to cut them and then shorten it. It's just the acts were a bit misshapen in that respect. So it caught me out completely when I was trying to do my questions. I actually thought it was 2 acts when in fact it was only 1. The previous act, that is.
Okay, so who got the bonus question right then? I think we're looking at Tavi and Maz.
So here's a chance for a Wookiee spin to throw a spanner in our works. Tavi?
I always love it when Wookiee wins. It's just evilness. Be like, take the points away.
Well, yeah, if it's a 3-person wheel, I think it's 3 or less, it becomes a situation where it's not in your favor to be on the wheel.
I'm kind of glad I didn't answer now. I'm like, this is
a little bit, because it's actually, statistically, you're better off.
No,
Okay.
don't go Wookiee. Wookiee's
Yeah,
gonna
no.
go Wookiee.
If it's not me, I want it to be
Go
Wookiee.
Go Wookiee.
Oh.
Let's spin the wheel.
Do it.
Oh no, it's going to be Tavi again.
Oh, it's a Tabby day! Tabby day! You have the look of the Brent about you.
I think this wheel knows it's the episode I've been waiting for. Oh.
Yeah.
Tavi's even been yellow
You're
as well.
allowed to have an unfair wheel on a Data episode.
It's just
now.
meant to be, isn't it? It's got to be Data's color and everything. Unbelievable.
Science yellow. We're up yellow.
Unbelievable.
But I would have yielded to Wookiee. I just love the evilness of the negative point.
Let's just get rid of some of them. Okay. So, Act 4, here we go. Worf wants to know where his son is and thinks about beating the information out of the Data Eli. But Troi reminds him... Sorry?
Yeah, pretty mouth.
It's Birdie. Troi reminds him that despite the issues with the holodeck, it's still a holodeck program. So if they just play the scenario out, they'll then be able to get out of it. That's all right, us saying that, but safeties are off. They can still die. You don't know with them being Data, with Data's strength and reaction times. It's just the difficulties just got set to extremely hard.
I realize that they don't realize this yet, but Data, or the Eli could just like rip those bars apart. There's nothing really stopping
Yes,
him.
right, yeah. You can just walk
Just
through the
doesn't.
wall.
He doesn't have in character knowledge, so.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't know he can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Worf decides to do some actual police work and see if anyone witnessed the abduction. So he goes out on the hunt for clues. I also think that's pretty brave, considering they're in the holodeck program, and Hollander's men just shot at him and shot him in the arm. It just goes out. I'll have a talk around. You've been shot, man. And he's all right. He's got duplicates of everything, isn't he? So I'm sure he can just shrug that off. In the observation lounge, Geordi and Data report that the C-47 of the core computer has been replaced with parts of Data's own programming. This affects the library computer, replicators, and recreational programs. But, importantly, nothing critical. It's a 47 reference, everyone. I should have a siren for it. 47 reference.
47.
It's a 47 reference.
C-40. Yeah, C-47 wrote subroutine or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that explains the things. The computer library playing Dvorak, because Data was studying Dvorak's works. The food replicators have been dispensing cat food because Data's trying different cat food supplements for Spot. And the literary works are being replaced by Data's poetry because he's been working on his poetry. Picard wants to know when they'll have all this fixed. And Data replies...
He is a Vogon?
Yeah. What with his poetry? Data replies that they are isolating the corrupted circuits, and I reckon it should take around 2 hours. They point out that he just said, I reckon, but Data says he's looked through his audio logs and finds no evidence of this. Y'all must be mistaken.
Reckon Dan near killed him.
Yeah. Picard thinks Geordi should take Data down to engineering to find out what the problem is. And as they exit the observation lounge, Data spits into a non-existent spittoon. And looks like he's got saddle sores from riding a horse all day.
But he also does the kind
he's
of
got that kind of yeah.
Like he's walking with wellies.
They kind of walk like that because the spurs and because they got like saddle sores. But...
Well, I heard a story anecdotally of a woman trying to teach a load of rural people in a GA club, just a sports club, to dance. Like they do a Strictly Come Dancing kind of thing. And it's like, was it much trouble teaching them how to dance? They said some of them had to teach how to walk because some of them were so used to walking in wellies, they kind of did that with their feet every time they moved. So they couldn't even walk in a straight line. So talking about starting from low base.
Back in the holodeck, Troy's observing Eli dealing cards, and he's dealing them just like Data, showing that the characters don't just look like Data, but have Data's abilities as well. Worf returns from his investigation and confirms that Alexander was indeed abducted by the Hollander's men, and Troi tells Worf about Eli having Data's abilities. I think Worf already knew because he grabbed his shoulder, didn't he, and crushed his shoulder, but it's nice to have that confirmed anyway. Hollander arrives at the jail and wants to talk to his boy. Worf orders him to remove his weapons, so Hollander tells him, take a good look at this gun, as you'll be seeing it again real soon. Eli tells his pa that he'd been treating him real bad, Pa. They haven't fed him since his incarceration, and Hollander tells him that the sheriff's gonna pay, and wants to know who that stranger is, and Eli confirms that he doesn't know who she is, but she's mean with the Winchester. Hollander and Worf agree to swap prisoners. Worf's changed his mind and gone, let's do that. Worf will be in the front of the saloon, and the Hollanders will be in front of the livery stables. And strangers are not invited. So, he's telling Troi to butt out. When they're gone, Troi points out that in Western stories, the bad guys never keep their word. And Worf's like, but it was an honourable agreement. Troi rightly points out that there's a gunslinger out there with the speed and accuracy of an android, and in 2 hours' time, he's going to try to kill you. And that was the end of Act 4.
They just point out how good her makeup is in that shot. Like under the hood, everything about it is just bang on.
She does look lovely.
Yeah, she instead of like her normal,
great in this episode.
she's smiling like this. And you see all of her teeth. It's not. Looks like
and
a
her
squirrel.
outfit
Yeah.
with those tight leather trousers, and it's just a really great
Oh
outfit.
yeah. She'd have you on the turn if you weren't already. Yeah. Anyway, which of the four main characters does not come in the Fistful of Data's action pack? I'm gonna be honest. This is a mean question. So it's A. Alexander, B. Deanna, C. Data, D. Worf.
What
And
What?
the
bonus
actual
question.
fuck?
I don't
So-
understand
Yes.
the question.
Okay, so they release an action figure pack, but they only include 3 action figures in it. And
It's
of
just
the
a
4
guess,
main
basically.
characters, one of them wasn't included. So it was
Yeah,
one of
I'm gonna go with that one.
although I say you can make an educated guess.
I'm
that
making
one of
an
them
educated
was
guess.
included, and then you can make some educated guesses. And the bonus question: what item is being replicated on decks 4 to 9 in error? Let's mention dialogue. What item is coming out of all the replicators on decks 4 to 9?
I can't spell. What's wrong with my texting?
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason, I've been typing for 20 years or even longer. For some reason, every time I write from, it always comes out as form. I can't fix it. I don't know.
Yeah, I do that often.
Yeah, it always comes out form and I have to correct it. Doesn't matter. I've been typing since 12 and 37. It still happens.
Okay.
Obviously, we pointed out the 47 reference, and
47.
they did come around to the idea. But as soon as Troy said, "Why don't we just let the story play out?" my thought was, why didn't they just let Eli out right then and just say, "Okay, have your son back"? Just try and mollify him as best as possible. Although this episode, or the holodeck portion of the episode, takes place in Deadwood, South Dakota. There's a map on the wall in the office here that Deanna was inspecting as we came back into this scene here, which apparently is of Arizona territory. I don't really know my geography, so I wouldn't really know that, but so I'm...
Have you to shine
I
here?
don't know if I can find that. It's too many.
We'll go back to it.
It's too many to go back to, I think.
Oh, and of course, as we mentioned earlier,
Yeah,
there was some obvious
that's a good way away. It's you have to go through Wyoming and Utah to get there, so you're about, I suppose, 10 hours in the car, 12 hours in the car away. Yeah, it's a good distance. I mean, it's like going from where you are to, I don't know, Poland.
I thought it was just on that last scene there as they were coming back to...
What is it? What?
Oh, no, it was just before Eli was shuffling, yeah, so it was quite near the beginning of this.
Yeah, it was
scene,
quite
wasn't
way
it?
back, wasn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
He had really
Was it there?
weirdly hairy arms. It was very odd.
Is
What
it?
do you mean?
Like, I don't
weird?
remember the original
Yeah.
Eli actor having very
Eli,
hairy arms,
yeah.
and then when they were covered gold, they were extremely hairy. I don't know what happened there.
I don't know.
When he was shuffling cards, you mean?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she stood staring at it.
Not quite there.
Yeah, it's that.
Oh, there?
There's there where you've got,
There
she
you
got
go.
it back. Yeah,
Yeah. Is that Arizona, is it?
apparently.
Yeah. It's nowhere near Deadwood then. Deadwood's nowhere near there.
No.
Deadwood's in the
No.
Black Hills. It's like way far north.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know that to be Arizona from whatever, but yeah, so
Apparently.
says the trivia.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, looking on the map, it's a long way away.
Yeah. And the other bit was just obviously, as we mentioned, some obvious stunt doubles and stuff used for data in these last few scenes.
Okay. Answers to the questions.
Yeah, I think I definitely split the room with the first question. Yeah, Deanna was missing from this. There was a set, and yeah, Deanna was the one that was missing. The rest of them were there.
Really?
And,
I should have
second
guessed
one
women always get disenfranchised with these things, but I just thought that maybe the figures would have been like
Oh,
full
same
size
sort of
figures, so I
size,
just
that's
guessed
what I
that maybe they
thought.
didn't have
Yeah, that's what I
a
thought.
miniature figure, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
no.
Hold on, if I just give me half a second. And display capture. Yeah, so I guess probably a bit too small to see. Oh, hold on. A bit too small to see, but you can see it there. There's a Data, there's an Alexander, and there's a Worf, but there's no Deanna. There is a Deanna figure from this episode, but she's not included in that particular set.
Wow.
And yeah, and as I said, the second question was it was cat food.
I think most people got.
I think we
cat
got
food.
got the cat food reference.
Mazza, Tavi, Monty, Smiler,
Smiler.
Ruth.
Does Smiler not have bingo cards? Why are you not playing bingo, Smiler?
I don't know. She should, shouldn't she? So should
Not have an
G-Star if he
email.
hasn't.
Yeah,
got his.
they should all get their bingo cards. And then you can shape bingo.
I don't think Stu Plum does it either.
No, he said it's just too complicated. He can't keep track of it all. Bless.
Just for
track
you,
of it.
Wookie, just for you, I put a TNG figure on my microphone today. That was just for you there. Do they float in the bath? I do not know. I could not tell you. I don't think I've ever put one in the bath. But
Did you ever do that thing as a kid where you wrap a plastic bag around their hands and then like throw them off from a height so that it would kind of parachute down? No, just me? Okay.
no, I didn't do that either. I might have done that with my Star Wars figures back in the day.
We didn't
Fair
have
enough.
an area to do that from.
might have done that with Star Wars figures.
I had a house that was 3 stories at the front and 5 stories at the back, so it was easy enough to do it over the backside.
Yes, a bit like my house. Okay, so I think I've put everybody on the wheel. So let's spin the wheel.
What agrees with me? I'm not on my own.
It's
Ooh,
Ruth.
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 Nicely done.
Well done there, Ruth.
Okay. Tabby Smiler wants a big card next week.
Okay, we'll do that. Let me give her the link because you just got to put in your email. If Stu Plum would like to play bingo, but he doesn't want to look, I always check at the end anyway. So I can do that as a service to Mr. Stu Plum.
Okay, we're on Act 5. The final act. Okay. Here we go. So, in engineering, Data's situation has not improved. It seems that some of Data's memory structure has been replaced with data from the America's 19th century West, which explains the accent. Data replies with a, "You got it, partner." And Geordi confirms that both Data's memory purge and the ship's computer purge will take about 2 hours. As Riker exits, Data repeats Hollander's words from earlier and tells Riker to sit tight, this'll all be fixed up by supper. Back in the jail, Worf and Troi are making their plans when Annie comes in with the toolbox with Old Man Newsom's telegraph machine. Worf uses it to jury-rig in MacGyver style a small force field on his belt. Worf marches Eli out into the street as the residents start boarding up their buildings. Hollander steps out with Alexander whilst lighting a cigar. This is where I get those that. They start the exchange, and as the two captives pass each other in the street, Hollander shouts to his son to get down as his henchmen fire from the rooftops above. And we see that even the henchmen now are whole Data. Hollander fires a few shots at Worf, but his force field actually holds. Then Troi pops out for some tarp and covers some of the henchmen, whilst the Mexican on the roof throws down a spare gun for Hollander, but as soon as he grabs it, Worf shoots it out of his hand. So here's the pictures for that. There's the Mexican Data throwing the gun,
I love the Mexican Data with the big mustache. It's fantastic.
Yes.
There's Worf shooting the gun out of Hollander Data's
Looks like he's almost
hand.
clapping to the side.
Yeah, there's not a good shot of it. I was hoping for a good shot of the gun, but there's not a good shot of it. That was as best as I could get.
I think all of the photos are fabulous. So
yeah. Hollander goes Worf into shooting him, but Worf realizes Alexander's watching whilst hiding under the saloon doors and decides to let him go, but never show their face in Deadwood again. The trio reunite in the saloon and try to end the program, but it still won't end. There's something missing from the storyline. Wonder what it could be. There's something that's missing is the sheriff's got to get the girl. And in this case, the girl is Annie. And unfortunately for Worf, Annie has also turned into Data. She tells him he is as handy with a gun as he is with a woman's heart. Aww. And she cuddles into him. Worf doesn't look to be enjoying that very much.
That almost looks like his stunt double as well there, because his eyes
He had
are
a
sort of
uni
closed.
booth now.
I've lost it. I've lost the picture. Where's the picture gone?
Yeah, I meant Worf's stunt double.
Yeah.
like Michael Dorn would be like, no, I don't want that cuddling into me.
No. Yeah, I think
actually, and
that's
you see
Worf
Brent
this time.
deliberately trying to make eye contact to put him off his scene, because that's a very Brent thing to do. All right, I suppose we should have some questions there.
I haven't finished.
Not quite.
Oh, sorry.
Not yet.
A little bit more.
Apologies, Magnus Magnuson.
Yeah. I heard the Crying Game song in my head when I saw that picture.
Also, Monteban Hopkins has asked if you can put the bingo link into chat. But you can do that.
Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. I'll have to find it. I can't remember where it is.
Yeah, she's put it into the StreamYard chat, but I don't know if you can see it.
I can do that.
week.
Hang on, here we go. Look at this.
So Smiler can play if she wants.
There you go. There is the bingo
Yay,
link.
well done.
If you want to grab your bingo cards. There you go. So both Data and the ship get restored. The program ends. They restore everything and they go meet with the Biko and continue as planned. In Worf's quarters, Worf is putting his son to bed and Alexander is worried because of what's happened that Worf will never want to go back to the ancient West again. But Worf surprises his son, saying the town of Deadwood may indeed need its sheriff and deputy again. Worf goes on and tries on his Stetson hat again. Does some posing in front of the mirror and clearly likes what he sees. Is there ever a more goofier shot of Worf you've ever seen in your life?
What a set of teeth.
What a set of gnashes. And the episode ends with some sort of Western music as the Enterprise sails off into the sunset, which I thought was just a really nice touch.
As sad
It's
as
really
that
nice.
is,
I love that shot.
I'll just point out that professional fighters do fight in front of a mirror. They shadow box, or even they have a mirror behind the behind the boxing bag just to see where they're dropping their guard. They're almost they're punching their own shadow. So it's not that hard to extend that to say that he's used to looking at his own reflection to see where the gaps in his own defense are. In relation to questions, what building does Frank Hollander stop outside on the street? A, the House of Pleasure. B, saloon. C, sheriff's office. Or D, livery stable. And what is the name of the Oberth that the D finally rendezvous with? I'll give you a clue, Monty. You just said it.
I just said it.
You did just said it. So, Worf manufactures force field armor with bits and bobs. And for those that didn't know, that's a direct take from Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood, where he gets like a plate and hides it under his poncho, aka also what Marty McFly does in Back to the Future.
I was going to throw that in, but you caught it.
Future 3? Yeah, Back to the Future 3.
Yeah.
I think that was 1990. Go on.
So I think I mentioned earlier that Patrick Stewart kept coming in with different ideas depending on what Western he'd watched.
Yeah.
And one of those was the film Shane from 1953. And there was a scene where there was a duel going on and somebody was like peeking out from under the saloon doors. So obviously that's where the scene with Alexander came from. Although Brent enjoyed playing all the villains, he was most comfortable playing the female bartender. I don't know how most comfortable is true. It's probably just a joke that he said sometime.
Yeah,
he did say that he did enjoy it. He thought he made a very homely female bartender, which is pretty funny. Obviously, you mentioned, the flying towards the sunset, which is, normally the hero riding off into the sunset. And there's also a little bit of the Wild Wild West 1965 TV series theme song that you can hear as they're doing that. There were a couple of scenes that were cut due to time. One was an homage to The Ransom of Red City Chief by O. Henry, with Alexander as the testy captive. And another deleted scene featured Worf nearly shooting himself in the foot after a quick draw lesson from Troi. Sorry?
I read that, yeah. I thought that'd be quite funny.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, shame they didn't leave that in. And apparently, Worf's original story had Alexander attempting to get Troi and Worf together, like some kind of parent trap type thing. But they thought that would make it a bit too sort of hokey and sitcom-y, and so they took that out of the story. And that's all I have, other than, has anybody answered the question? Yes, they have. The other thing was about the Biko, which was actually named for a South African anti-apartheid activist, Steve Biko. So yeah, Patrick Stewart actually pronounces it incorrectly by saying Biko. Apparently
should
it's
be
supposed to be
Really?
Biko, but
When I was in school, it was Biko.
Oh, right.
Maybe it's an Americanism.
Documentary.
Maybe the trivia is wrong then.
It might be an Americanism though, because we pronounce things differently.
Don't know.
Like Moscow, Moscow.
Who knows? Anyway, that's all I have.
I think as well. I think there's in a bit like Wrath of Khan conspiracy. He wore a rubber chest. I actually think Data wore a rubber chest in this scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You can see it wrinkle like around his neck. He put like that neck collar on to like. But you can see his chest's a different color to his face,
It's like what the guys wear in drag. It would have been better if it had like a big cleavage or something, but you can't even really see the cleavage. It just looks a bit fakey. But
yeah.
It looks like he just has one big tit.
You're trying to say Data's one big tit? One big glorious tit. Yes.
Well, of what I know of Brent, and obviously I've never met him, but he has a very, maybe not perverse sense of humor, very off-brand sense of humor, surreal sense of humor. So I'm sure he absolutely loved this episode and everything about it. He was making all these cracking jokes off stage all these years, and they finally get an episode to put it on the screen, and they gave him every opportunity to play a character other than Data, which was, basically pretty boring on the face of it.
Okay, so answers to the final question then.
So it was the livery stable or livery stable, depending on what part of the world you're in.
It was
indeed. And yes, it was the Biko, as was mentioned.
And is that everybody again? Did everybody get Biko?
It seemed fairly across the board there.
Yeah.
I don't think Smiler got Biko.
No.
So Smiler, I have to take Smiler off. Sorry, Smiler, you're going to come off. Apart from that, I think it's
okay.
everybody
There's
else.
always divorce.
Hey! God, talk about go for the nuclear option straight away. Okay, I'm spinning the wheel. I need to get a song, a spin the wheel song. Oh,
Ruth again!
it's Ruth and Tavi's night tonight, isn't it?
Wow.
Nothing from Montalban here. Better luck next week, Monty. Better luck next week. Right, so that's the end of the quiz, and that puts the end to bingo. So put a pin in bingo, and Tavykins can see if there were any lines, any houses, any corners, anything like that. And you can let Maz know whether there was anything. Oh, she's already done it. she's there. Look at that. Straight away.
It's a slim bingo.
Slim night. Slim night tonight.
A slimbo.
A slimbo on the bingo.
Or a slingbo, whatever you want to call it.
I'm just trying to check on
And as I
question 3. No,
as I go
question
and
2.
find the spreadsheet, can you all start thinking about what you'd give this episode out of 10? And what would you give it? Marks out of 10. And put those scores into chat. We will add them together and add it to our score and put it on the scoreboard.
You can just take the out of that comment, not marks out of 10. You mean marks of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to go back and check. For some reason, for question D, I had me and Tavi with no answer. But we did answer correctly. We both answered D, D. Yeah, D. That's fine. Fill that back in. I was confused for a moment there. All right.
Okay. What have we got then with the +5s?
We have in first place, by a margin of only 5 points, is Tavykins. So just on the scoreboard, 350 TNG review points.
Wow. In second place.
Oh yeah, did you ever go back and check? Like we had a bit of a question mark over the score last time.
Oh no,
Not
I
that it
never
really
corrected
matters,
it.
but that's fine.
I forgot about that.
Next, we have Ruth on 345 TNG review points. So 9 on the scoreboard for Ruth. Next, we have, and again, just nudged in front of you, Monty Ban, I'm afraid, is myself with 325 TNG review points.
Ooh.
So I've got the 5 bingo. And then you come next with.
So how many points was that for you? That was
so 8 on the scoreboard for me.
8 for you. So that puts you on
7
59.
for you.
And was it me? 7?
Oh crap! Hang on.
Oh, what was happened? The data girl's got her spreadsheet all mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know why there were like several scores missing. So undo. Undo you and me.
Okay.
Because actually I was missing a score from Stuplum.
Oh.
So Stuplum was actually next with 330 TNG review points.
Oh,
so
okay.
he gets 8.
So he gets the 8. So that
Then
puts
I get
him
the
on
7.
62.
You get the 6.
You
and
get the
5
7.
points separation
So you're
score.
on 58.
You
And
get the 6.
I get the 6. So I'm on 60. And who
And
else?
then
G-Star?
G-Star also answered a question, and he got 60 TNG review points, so he gets 5 points on the scoreboard.
5. We're getting there, guys.
Sorry, I've messed it up a bit this time.
And Smiley didn't get anything.
No, because she answered one of the bonus questions but didn't get the spin.
No, she didn't get a
Not a
spin.
bingo.
Oh, she got 5 points for a
Smiler
bingo.
did.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah.
She got 5 points on a bingo, so she comes next then.
Ah.
So, what was that, 4 points?
That's
was it?
fine. I put the 5 points to Ruth for some reason, but that made no difference to the positions.
Is that
So
4
yeah,
points
that
then
put
for Smile?
Smiler in 6th place with 4 points. Yeah, 7th place, I think, with 4 points.
There we go.
Right?
That
I made a
puts
complete
Smiler
box
up
dinner
just
for that,
behind
didn't I?
Karen, I think. Although I've still got to review last week's quiz at the end of last week's because I might have buggered it all up. I will get round to it.
Yeah.
I will sort that out at some point. But anyway, it is what it is. And there we go. That just the only change there really was G-Star moved up and Smiler Rainbow moved up.
You're no longer in bronze, I'm afraid.
Oh, and I'm not in bronze. No. But that's fine. That's fine.
You're just happy that you get to play these days.
I'm just happy I get to play. Okay,
Thanks,
so
Paul, for being question master.
No, I don't mind that.
You don't get to play anymore. You don't miss it.
I don't mind that. It's fun to see Monty squirm when I ask a stupid question. With no easy answer. I mean, as I said, I dug deep to find out, like the earlier question about which one wasn't in the fistful of Data's pack. That was a stupid. Obviously, Data was in it.
That was a great question.
It's just fun to mess people up.
That was the one that got me squirming. I was like, what?
But it was literally just put in there just to mess people up.
Yeah.
So.
Right then, get your paddles, put your paddles on standby. We're going to rate this one. We're going to give this one some points. What did Tabbykins give Rascals last week? 0? Okay, where's my 0? Hang on a minute. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm going to sneeze.
Habashibija.
Hey!
Habashibija.
I think he's both Bajoran and pregnant.
Fun, you know.
Oh, it was good for me.
Is it like a sneeze but better?
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, I think I just show my.
A
little bit.
What am I going to give it? What could I change it now?
German for no.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Boing. Oh, 9s and a 10 from the Tabbykins.
Oh, we might have a season leader here. Well, I say season leader. It's not going to get beaten.
10, 9, and the audience average score.
Do we have scores in the chat?
The audience score is 7.666, so rounds up to 8.
8. Yeah. Oh, that puts it on 9, which is by far the biggest episode of the season so far. In fact,
great. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It has over twice the score of Rascals last week. 2 Rascals, and it still wouldn't beat Data, Fistful of Data's.
Face, even just remembering that episode, she's just completely disgusted.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a small bit I forgot to mention. That the Data's normal double, he was carried as an extra on All Good Things, and it came to the point where people like run up to me, "We need to be a makeup Data, we need you for the next scene," because they felt he looked so much like him that they actually mistook him for Brent Spiner. And he was on screen in about 70 episodes and some of the films, and a couple of Romulans and Klingons and stuff. That's not the interesting part. The guy's name is Guy Vardaman, and I'm going to get to the point, I promise. And apparently the character of Guy Fleegman in Galaxy Quest is named after him as a result
Guy.
of... Yeah, because his name, it wasn't just a coincidence. There's like, oh, he's some guy. Apparently he was named after this. And even further than that, he was second choice for the role until Sam Rockwell became available to play Guy Fleegman in Galaxy Quest. So he very almost Data's double, who also played other background roles, very almost was in Galaxy Quest, and then he wasn't because he got replaced by Sam Rockwell.
Sam
And
Rockwell's good,
I went down a bit of a rabbit hole on that one, but I thought that was like, oh, unfortunate, but also it's a cool story.
It's a cool story, and I always thought he was just called Guy because he was just a random guy.
Yeah, but it's like Guy Fawkes. Guy is a name. It's you know, it's not common anymore. But yeah, I thought in relation to the Galaxy Quest guy, I thought that was part of the joke. He was just Guy, but no, apparently he's named after the Brent double Guy Bardaman, who did all his stunts and did all his hand acting and everything else.
Another guy I quite like is oh gosh, what's that? I've forgotten what the film's called. It's about a computer game that becomes sentient. Starring
War Games?
Ryan Reynolds. No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the other guy? No, not the other guy.
But yeah, there's a guy in that, isn't there? The big
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds character.
But
who's
yeah,
like, you know.
Isn't he called Dude?
Oh, is he called Dude? Oh no, he's the guy, isn't he? He's the blue shirt guy.
Yeah.
The main character, Ryan Reynolds, is the blue shirt guy, isn't he? And Dude's called Dude, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah. It's like I don't know.
Free Guy. That's it, yeah.
What's Free Guy? Yeah, Free Guy. That's it. I knew it was a guy reference in there.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. T.
Mr. T. Good evening, sir. Hope
By
you're
the
well.
way, Wookie wants to know. I think Wookie's just trying to create an argument, but he wants to know whether you've been watching Strange New Worlds and what you think about this latest rendition of Kirk.
I am personally not a fan. You'll be unsurprised to know. I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he has the charisma to pull off Kirk. I see what they were going for when they casted him.
He's also 10 years too old.
He just seems too old, and he just seems a little too wooden. Kirk's
yeah,
Kirk when
him
Kirk's in a scene,
pitter patter is nice though.
when Kirk's in a scene, he fills the scene, doesn't he? Because he's just like, you know, he fills.
Yeah, he's like Al Pacino. He has to chew the scenery. He has to.
He chews the scenery up, and this guy's just part of the background furniture. I don't know, just doesn't.
Yeah, and he's as I said, he's 10 years too old. Yeah,
he's not terrible.
Strange New Worlds.
I have to say,
I
he's
loved
not
it when it
terrible.
started. I don't hate it. I like Discovery. I never liked it.
Majram's stupid.
Majram's stupid.
It's just. I don't even look forward to watching it. It just feels like a chore almost. And anyway, look, we'll have the hegemony tomorrow, which is presumably a Gorn episode. We'll get it done. But
did you not like the musical last week, Sean?
I thought I would, but it just bored the arse off me. I mean, I grew up in a house where my father was in musicals all the time, and even then, it just didn't get me over the line. I didn't get into it at all. So yeah. Look, this episode should be a big banger if they want to try and get a renewal, but I don't think they will. I think it's just run its course naturally and just let it, like Discovery, just let it die and move on to something else. Yeah. It's a great thing about Trek. There's always something else to move on to. So you just go, thank you very much. We liked it. Let's move on.
As I say, I've been saying this since the beginning of season 2. I've just been generally disappointed with the writing and the direction it's taken. I thought this Strange New Worlds, was Star Trek getting back to its sort of exploratory roots and going where no man's gone before and showing us cool, weird things. But instead, we've just been hanging around space docks and we've just been having teen melodramas. And, I think this concept, they're trying to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're trying to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're trying to be a teen comedy drama. And they're trying to hit all the Buffy the Vampire Slayer notes, including having like a musical episode. But it's Star Trek. It's not supposed to be a teen comedy drama.
Yeah, and they're making that Starfleet Academy show, which no one wants, and they can try it with that and see how it goes.
Which will be another teen comedy drama.
Yeah, it's just the wheels are falling off, and I just hope it just ends politely and It's not like Discovery where it has to have a slow, uncomfortable death. We just need to be put out of its misery, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want another season of it. I want to move on to something else. I want more 25th century Trek.
You just know.
Be that Discovery, be that Lower Decks, be that Star Trek Legacy. That's the stuff I want to see.
You just know Wookie asking me what I thought of like Strange New World something. You know, he's just lighting the touch paper and standing back, isn't he? He's just
yeah.
He's just putting that. What do you think of? Oh yeah, right. Yeah, not being that happy. I will say this though. Smiler Rainbow was a massive fan of the of the musical episode. She absolutely loved it. So.
I probably do need to watch it a second time, but it did. As I said, as someone who grew up in a house where musicals and drama were part of my life,
she was very enthusiastic.
It didn't capture me at all.
No.
I was pretty obsessed with the Buffy musical episode, so
it's fantastic.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love that. I do love that. But
I'll give you a weird, link. So the guy who played Sweet, like the demon in the Buffy episode, ended up playing Cat in the American pilot of Red Dwarf. So something like Clinton Battle was his name, but he was straight off so they got him to play in the pilot of Red Dwarf. It didn't take off, but if it did, he would have been fantastic because obviously he had all that Broadway experience of toe tapping and stuff, and it would have been perfect for the character of the cat, but it didn't work out.
And that was one of the pilots. They did two, didn't they?
Yeah, and the second one, Terry Farrell was.
They say in the second one, Terry Farrell played the cat. So, double Star Trek references there.
Yeah, but you're on Clinton Battle. If it went on, he would have been toe tapping and tap dancing. He would have been fantastic, but it didn't happen. Such is life.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. Star Trek was a bit like the Twilight Zone in space where anything can happen. It was a bit like that.
I can see they maybe lean too far back into that they've gone too episodic and it needs the balance wasn't struck right. Anyway, look, it's not what I want it to be. I don't look forward to watching it. It feels like a chore to watch it, and I just feel like I have to watch it because I've seen all the Treks, so therefore I must watch it. When it gets to that stage, it's like Discovery. So, all right. One
thing important happened. Small spoiler alert. So, spoiler alert for the next for the musical episode. It's not a major one. It's not major, but Kirk does mention to I've forgotten her name, Sung, that when she professes her feelings, that he can't do anything because he has a partner already in Carol Marcus and she's pregnant with his son. Right? Now, that says to me then that Strange New Worlds is in another universe. It's another canon. It's another... Because Kirk never knew. Kirk never stayed with her when she was pregnant. Didn't know she was pregnant.
Apparently the lines say that he kind of knew, but he didn't. But
he didn't know.
The funny... I saw a meme, and I can't find it now, but I saw a meme, and basically Khan was coming after Kirk. I was like, you tasked me, I should have you or something. And I was like, I'm sorry, are you angry with me for banging your great granddaughter? And he's like, what? It's canon breaking in its own way, but it's so stupid. I can't find it here, but it's so good. It's brilliant.
That's one instance, but there was something else as well. There's been a couple of things which suggests that what we're actually watching is not in the original, Star Trek universe. That all of this new Trek is in a new Trek universe that's outside of.
Yeah, they're all slightly separate, parallel universes.
The fact that the ship looks completely different
and changing just a little bit.
In Picard, which is in the Prime universe, the Constitution class ships still look the same, but in this universe they look completely different.
And yet the NX class ship has the extension, the Mythical Season 5 extension. It has the saucer or the engineering section that the Enterprise show that didn't have.
But it would have got. It would have got. We just didn't see it. After the
no,
series
Doug
finished,
Director designed it.
It went on and got that.
Yeah, but they showed it being retired without it, and then it has it. So,
right.
Yeah, it's kind of canon. It's really tough to tie all this canon together. You just have to kind of accept visual inconsistencies are just there, and it was filmed at different times, and we just have to accept. Much like the lower
what you
decks
have
episode,
when you start to reach. It's what you have when you start to reach 1,000 episodes.
Yeah,
just gotta accept it.
Yeah, over 60 years.
As Wookie says, it's
technology
jiggery
massively
pokery.
changed. But the lower decks episode is the perfect example. It's in one visual style. It's in another visual style. It's in another visual style again. It's all the same continuity. You just move past it.
Wiki's not enjoying Tabby's SMR ASMR seaweed eating.
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You can.
Okay,
I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll mute out while I'm munching.
It's all right. Yeah, you're all right. You're okay. It's it does it for some people, you know. So there's a whole genre around that kind of thing, Tabby. So you know, just forging ahead, you know. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, like people get paid a lot of money to put their hand in a jar of teeth.
Yeah.
That's it. Always sunny in Philadelphia.
Always sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah.
All right.
Season 16.
Speaking of lower decks, does anyone know what next week's episode is?
Is new lower decks out?
Something or another.
No, sorry. Next week's episode.
Oh, Strange New Worlds.
I'm sorry, I misphrased. No, apologies. I just completely misphrased that. Next week's episode of TNG.
It's called
TNG.
Quality something.
Quality of
life.
Quality of life.
Yeah, it features the exocomps, which we bring back in lower decks, and bring back the Ensign Peanut Hamper.
Yeah.
Joy.
So I quite like that episode. Well, we'll see how we get on.
We'll see how we get on. Yeah, it might be fun.
Yeah, we're up to episode. Apparently, it just tells me on the memory alpha here. It's 242nd of 892. So we're squaring in on 900.
Yeah, we were on 891 last week. So yeah, 892. We're
that's
coming
where
up
we
to
are.
900.
They're on the ball. And updated, anyway.
They're up there on the ball. They're on top of their metadata.
Yeah. It's like, do you know when a celebrity dies and you look them up on Wikipedia and then it immediately, 20 seconds after you see it, it always had their death date, and you go, oh yeah, there's a neckbeard there, making sure it's on the case.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't trust them, there's something you want to look up and go, were they in that film? And they go, no, someone's done it.
Yeah. Look, he says, quality of life, this is going to be a hard one for you guys on a personal level. Probably, isn't it? Can't deny that one. Yeah. Okay, right. Well, we're going to end it there. Thank you, Mazimat Bob, Tabikins Turner, and Chief Sean. I would stay on a bit longer, but I do have Crystal Karen around visiting, so I better make it short and finish now. But thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you to Wookie, to G-Star, to Smiler Rainbow, to Crystal Karen, to Mr. Tavikins the Beard. Thank you to Ruth. Thank you to forgetting anyone? I said Smiler.
Well, no, but just anyone that's watching back, we're just 9 short subscribers of 500, so just hit that button if you're there.
Remember, as soon as we hit 500,
we're 5 short now. Are we 9 short still?
We're 9 short. We're 491
short.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Remember, I have this Naga chili chocolate ready for when we hit 500 subscribers. So if anybody wants to see me in pain,
you're keeping that up. That was just a joke on my part. But
no, I've got the Naga chili chocolate for when we hit 500.
You can eat an entire quarter pound of chocolate like that will really cause him difficulty.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna.
I
It's
still
gonna
think
cause me
you
some
should
pain.
put out an appeal onto the real TNG group to say
Oh, I keep forgetting.
we
that.
only need 9 more
I
subscribers.
keep going to do it and then can't think of how to word it. Anyway, thank you guys, and we will see you next week for another episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Cheers.
Bye.